We continue our coverage of the biggest e-commerce deal in the world. Welcome to Flipkart Big Billion Day. That's what we are calling the special show. I'm Chandra Shrikant coming to you from India's tech and startup hub, Bengaluru, also the place where Flipkart is headquartered. And we really take our extensive coverage of this mega deal forward with some key takeaways that came out this morning from a conversation that Walmart CEO Doug McMillon, Binny Bansal, as well as Flipkart CEO Kalyan Krishnamurthy had with editors in Delhi. We're just going to pull out some of those key takeaways. And I think the most important takeaway for me was the assurance that came in from the Walmart CEO that they have learned lessons over the years to let things be when it comes to local operations, and that there will not be a bureaucracy from the US that will try and run Flipkart. So I think that's one of the most important takeaways. This is something that people were worried about, the fact that decision making will be impacted if there is a super boss sitting in Bentonville. How will they really be nimble, agile as before? But Doug McMillon clearly stating, giving assurance to people that that is not going to be the case. He's also spoken about how they are still trying to put an all-star team as far as the board composition is concerned. So you will definitely have representation from Walmart. You will of course have some of the older investors such as Axel and Naspers, their representatives stepping down, as well as of course Sachin Bansal, who was previously on the board. He's also said that China and India continue to remain priority markets. They're confident that they've paid the correct price, though the opportunity is small for now. He's also said, most importantly, that they do not anticipate a name change for Flipkart. So if you were betting on Walcart, that's not happening soon. Let's also look at what Flipkart's group CEO and co-founder Binny Bansal had to say about this mega deal. He said that Walmart and Flipkart share the ambition for taking the company public. Remember, this is something that Walmart mentioned yesterday as well. He said that this is a watershed moment and that it will lead to a lot more investments for Indian startups. More importantly, he's also said that it's going to be emotional for him that Sachin will not be part of the next part of the journey. So their partnership comes to an end as a result of this deal. Let's also take a look at what Flipkart CEO Kalyan Krishnamurthy said. He's highlighted a lot on the private label business, which I think Walmart is going to help them with. He's also spoken about groceries. He said that, so far they haven't been able to crack the magic formula, but expect groceries in 4-5 cities by the end of the year. For more details on this entire conversation, I'm going to go across to our managing editor, Sandeep Gurumurthy, who was part of that roundtable with all the big guns from Walmart and Flipkart. Sandeep, what was the sense you got from Walmart CEO Doug McMillon? And, is he giving hints about a possible deal with Future Group? Because Kishore Biyani has said that he's in discussions with both Walmart and Amazon.
Well, I think the Walmart CEO was non-committal on whether or not they're going to make another big investment in the Indian market, but it was evident that they are extremely hot on the Indian market, so to say. A specific question was asked on whether or not they're looking at some sort of a strategic tie-up with the Future Group, and he sort of stepped back and said that, look, we will look at opportunities in this region and we are very, very bullish on the Indian market as a whole. So I think that was evident. He was obviously non-committal on this specific deal, but the very fact that he's written a check of $16 billion to get about 40–50% share of the online market, which in totality comprises just 3% of the organized retail market, tells you the fact that they inherently believe in the growth potential of the Indian market. Yes, out of the $16 billion, only about $2 billion will actually trickle into the company and the rest will go to investors. But it was very evident, through that 1 hour long interaction that they are very bullish on the market and they're willing to stay invested, put in a lot of money over a long period of time before they yield, before this investment turns a return. In fact, there was no conversation at all on paths to profitability. So I think Walmart, in that sense, is looking at this business in a fundamentally very different manner.
Walmart Walmart non-committal, but Kishore Biyani clearly making the interest clear, public, and you saw the stock reaction today. But Sandeep, in terms of the road ahead for Flipkart, what can we expect in that direction? Kalyan Krishnamurthy touched upon groceries, Binny spoke about an IPO. What can we expect there?
Well, I think a couple of things from Flipkart's point of view. I think the Walmart CEO was emphatic to state that there will be no bureaucracy in the US that will manage the affairs of Flipkart. It will continue to be a board-run company. And of course, Kalyan Krishnamurthy, the CEO, has done a pretty good job over the last year and a half in sort of turning around the company, will continue to be at the helm of affairs. He was there at this breakfast meeting as well this morning. From an immediate priority point of view, it was evident that they want to crack the groceries space, and that's a space where they haven't really forayed into yet. They're doing some pilots in Bengaluru, and he indicated that they're currently studying the results of the pilot, and he was hopeful that by the end of this year they should be looking at groceries in at least 4 to 5 cities. So that's the next big opportunity. But in many sense, it seemed like as if it would be business as usual, even as Walmart tries to come through with some of its processes and sort of its capabilities, and hopefully Flipkart will be able to take some of the private labels of the experience of Walmart in introducing private labels. That's an area where they could collaborate. But it seemed like as if it would be business as usual. There's no question of Flipkart ever becoming a Walcart. Was something that Doug McMillon emphatically stated. So it will remain an independent company. It will remain a board-run company, at least for now.
Thanks so much for that, Sandeep. So clearly business as usual, at least for now. At least there's no Walcart coming, there's no Flipmart coming. But also important to mention here that one person who's been conspicuous by his absence among all these celebrations yesterday and today is the other Bansal of Flipkart. Flipkart co-founder Sachin Bansal, who's been the face of the company for many years. Remember, he was CEO till a couple of years back before he stepped down and became chairman, and now has exited the company by selling his entire stake. While he wasn't part of the town hall yesterday or even the press release, he did put up a very emotional post on Facebook bidding adieu to the company he founded as a 2 BHK flat. We're just going to play out what he said. So Sachin says, sadly, my work here is done, and after 10 years, it's time to hand over the baton and move on from Flipkart, but I'll be watching and cheering from the outside. Flipsters, you better continue to do a good job. He also said, I'll be taking some time off and focusing on finishing a few personal projects which I haven't been able to find time for. He's also going to catch up on his gaming and code skills. So that's the near-term plan. But knowing Sachin Bansal and the fact that he's walked away with nearly $1 billion, don't expect him to just spend that time gaming and brushing up on his coding skills. People are already talking about a Sachin Bansal 2.0, perhaps a new venture on the anvil. And don't forget, he's also a very active angel investor. So I guess portfolio companies are counting on him for more time for mentorship and investments. But Sachin Bansal is certainly going to be a very active figure in the Indian startup ecosystem. But moving away from that to the other side of this deal, and traders are not too happy. The Swadeshi Jagran Manch has made its objections to the deal clear. So it's now become a Swadeshi versus Walmart scenario. Let me go across to my colleague Ruchi Bhatia for more details on that.
At a time when Prime Minister Narendra Modi credits himself for bringing the most amount of foreign direct investment into the country, a lot of opposition, stiff opposition in fact, coming in from one of the affiliate organizations of the RSS, the Swadeshi Jagran Manch. In fact, they held protests in the capital today. They've also reached out to the Prime Minister in a letter and have sought intervention to ensure that we do not see a lot of job losses post this deal going through. They feel that this deal will cause more harm than good, especially for the traders and for the agriculture sector, and believe that a lot of rules have been circumvented given the fact that the government does not allow foreign direct investment into the multi-brand retail sector. In fact, they also say that this will lead to a lot of job losses, especially for the MSME sector at a time when the government is looking to push jobs in the MSME space. They also say that this will stifle the government's Make in India initiative, Prime Minister Modi's ambitious manufacturing restructuring policy. But while a stiff opposition coming in from the Swadeshi Jagran Manch as well as various other political parties, especially the CPIM, the government wants to keep an arm's length distance from this entire deal.
Time to get you the exclusive we promised in this special show, an interview with the co-founder and CEO of ShopClues, the e-commerce player number 4, a distant fourth compared to Amazon, Flipkart and Paytm, but an important one nevertheless, because remember, it's a unicorn, $1 billion valued enterprise that's funded by the likes of Tiger Global, Nexus Ventures, GIC, Helion and others. Now, what does this mega deal mean for a player like ShopClues? Have Indian startups got a raw deal? Will it be a big threat for up-and-coming startups? We have Sanjay Sethi joining us on the phone line. Sanjay, thanks so much for joining us on this special show. Just want to understand your first take on this mega Flipkart-Walmart deal.
Thanks for the call, Chandra. Firstly, I think huge congratulations to the entire Flipkart team. I think they've done a fabulous job. No matter how I look at it, I think it's just a great outcome for everyone involved. I think for the longest time, there has been this narrative about India that it's a very large and untapped market, for sure, but not many investors have seen real financial upside here. And I think that narrative probably changes with this. There are a lot of supporters of Flipkart, which will be very happy today. So yes, I think overall, I think great deal. I really very proud of what they've been able to do.
But Sanjay, this would mean it's going to be Amazon versus Alibaba versus Walmart. That's going to be the big battle. Where does this three-way battle leave players like you?
So, Chandra, I think there is, and this is something that I mentioned earlier also, is there is a certain amount of policy to be blamed, so to speak. I think one of the things that we wanted to do in India was, when we did the FDI thing, was to invite foreign capital to come into India to build infrastructure, to enable SMEs, to build local companies to grow and then be able to compete in a level playing field with the large players. But if you look back today, precisely what the FDI policy wanted to do, I think we are missing the mark. Today, if you talk about internet, you have Facebook, you have Google, you have Uber, you have Walmart, Alibaba, and Amazon, and these are the large companies. I think, in a way, I think the intent of what the policies wanted to achieve, I think we have missed the mark for sure. I think in that sense, I do feel that I am hoping that as we go forward, there is a better articulation of policy and its enforcement, so that we are able to protect domestic businesses better than we have done in the past.
But Sanjay, I understand your disappointment with the policy, but what will it mean for your survival? What will it mean for your future?
So for us, Chandra, I think if you think about it, last 7 years, about I think 14 odd billion has been raised around us, and we are still here. We are competing. We will continue to do that. I think the Indian market continues to be complex. It requires extreme, not just capital, but extreme focus on execution. I think you have to think in terms of blueprints rather than what has worked in other geographies. I think India is unique in that sense, and I think we have a role to play, and we'll continue to do that. Of course, it doesn't become easier, but I think when dust settles, people will realize that India is a different market and will require different strategies. So we are here.
Sanjay, stay with us. We're going to take a very short break, but we're going to come back and talk to you more on this in terms of other opportunities, strategic investments that you are evaluating and a possible exit. Stay with us. Come back on the other side of this special show, Flipkart's Big Billion Day. Welcome back to the special show, Flipkart's Big Billion Day. We still have Sanjay Sethi of ShopClues with us, another e-commerce unicorn from India. We're trying to understand what the impact of this deal is going to mean for him as the fourth e-commerce player to reckon with. Sanjay, do you see this mega deal also as a missed opportunity for you in a sense? Because if you look at it, Walmart has gone with Flipkart, Amazon's on its own, and Alibaba and SoftBank have decided to go with Paytm. So is this a missed opportunity for you in terms of finding a strategic investor with deep pockets?
So I think that's where I think my earlier statement was that India is unique in that sense. The blueprints of the Western economies are not going to work as is, and I think it will be slightly premature to say that all large players are already here and operating. I think we have totally the world that we are entering is an O2O world. Online offline divide is kind of disappearing, and I think there are multiple players within the country and outside who have yet to enter the foray. And I don't believe that this is going to be a monopoly or a duopoly. I think there will be multiple players because it is a strong physical and online presence that will be at play in India. So I don't think that the battle has been fought and won. I think we're just still drawing the battle line.
Funding-wise, Sanjay, are you in a comfortable position now? Will you be raising a fresh round to take on the might of Amazon and, of course, Flipkart, which is going to get fresh equity funding from Walmart?
So, Chandra, I think with the Flipkart deal happening with Walmart, I think a lot of clarity comes up. Actually, last, I would say, 6 months were harder in many ways because there was uncertainty around which way and how things will happen. Now you see there's a lot more clarity now. We know who is in, who is out, and that actually opens up more opportunities. I think earlier we were struggling with the uncertainty around which way and how things will move. So I think that has changed. So I'm pretty hopeful.
Sanjay, in terms of your own operations, it's been a difficult last few months for you. We've heard about layoffs. We've heard about efforts to narrow down losses. What's the path to profitability looking like as far as ShopClues is concerned?
So I think on the path to profitability, Chandra, I think like I've mentioned this in the past also, this last 2 years have been for us to align ourselves in certain categories. Like our focus is tier 3, tier 4 low-income group consumers, which means that certain categories are something that we don't want to participate in. Large, big white goods, branded 42-inch televisions. Those are not the products that resonate with our consumers. And I think those changes we've been doing steadily for the last 2 years. This year is all about, so we've achieved contribution margin for profitability for the entire marketplace. It's been more than a year now. I think this year is all about aligning our bottom line and fixed costs to focus on these strategies. So I think we have doubled down on getting to cash flow positivity for the organization, and this year we'll achieve it. And I think that kind of breaks us free from this continuous pressure of raising external capital. I think we want to be there.
I have to ask you, Sanjay, is a strategic investment from Alibaba still on the table? This was speculated a few months back. I don't know if there's more pressure to pursue that option now.
So, that is a difficult question to answer. I think these are hypotheticals. Many of these things, they happen in certain environment. I don't think today is the right environment for that. But these are large players, and it's important to keep your ears on the ground to see what is happening and who is doing what. So I really can't answer this question in a yes and no because I don't have enough information.
Sanjay Sethi, thanks so much for taking time out and joining us on this special show. I know it's going to be a few difficult months for the existing players to figure out where they stand against these three behemoths, Amazon versus Alibaba versus Walmart. Where does that leave players like ShopClues, which is also, by the way, a unicorn? Where does it leave BigBasket, which has a grocery focus? We will be covering this angle by angle over the next few weeks. But thanks so much for joining us on this special show, and keep it with ET Now for more news and updates.